Spain, or the Kingdom of Spain, is located on the Iberian Peninsula in the southwest corner of Europe, spanning an area of 505,990 square kilometers with a population of over 47.4 million. Its territories also include the Canary Islands in the Atlantic Ocean, the Balearic Islands in the Mediterranean Sea, and the autonomous cities of Ceuta and Melilla in Africa. Early history. The Iberians and the Celts were the largest groups inhabiting the Iberian Peninsula before the Roman conquests. By 19 BC, the whole Iberian Peninsula was occupied by the Romans, who referred to the entire peninsula as Hispania, from where the modern name of Spain originates. The Romans restored the remaining cities and established new municipalities, bringing a period of economic flourishing to the peninsula. Following the collapse of the West Roman Empire, Spain was subject to numerous invasions of Germanic tribes, resulting in the loss of Roman rule and the establishment of Germanic kingdoms. In the early 8th century, as part of the expansion of the Umayyad Caliphate, nearly all of the Iberian Peninsula was conquered by Muslim armies, resulting in the collapse of the Visigothic kingdom. The region became known as Al-Andalus. In the 15th century, several Christian kingdoms emerged in northern Iberia, whereas the southwestern part developed into the Kingdom of Portugal. Spanish Empire. The crowns of Castile and Aragon under the Catholic monarchs were united by the wedding ceremony between King Fernando II and Queen Isabella I. In 1492, the United Kingdoms of Castile and Aragon conquered the last Muslim emirate of Granada, ending 781 years of the Islamic rule in Iberia. The year 1492 also marked the arrival of Christopher Columbus in the New World, sparking the beginning of the Spanish Empire, the first global empire, through voyages of Spanish conquistadors beyond Europe to the Americas, Oceania, Africa, and Asia during the subsequent decades. In 1516, the empire was ruled by the kings from the House of Habsburgs led by the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, giving it the name Habsburg Spain. It was under the rule of King Philip II of Spain that Spain enjoyed a cultural golden age and reached its territorial and economic peak. In 1571, Spain gained victory over the Ottomans at Lepanto. The late 16th century marked the incorporation of the Portuguese Empire into the so-called Iberian Union, which lasted until the Portuguese Restoration War, marking the separation of Portugal and the cessation of Ceuta from Portugal to Spain. During the middle decades of the 17th century, the Spanish Empire failed to suppress the revolt of the Dutch Republic in the 80 Years' War, which resulted in the continued decline of Habsburg power. In the later part of the century, Spain went into a gradual decline, during which it surrendered several small territories to France and England. In 1700, following the death of Charles II, the last Habsburg monarch, the War of the Spanish Succession broke out over control of the Spanish Empire between France's Philip V and Austria's Charles VI. Philip V then succeeded the throne of Spain. During the war, a new dynasty called the House of Bourbon was installed. In the 18th century, the ideas of the Enlightenment came to Spain, bringing a period of economic recovery and political reforms in the country. Liberalism in Spain. In 1793, Spain went to war against Napoleonic France as a member of the First Coalition, which ended with the Peace of Basel, in which Spain lost control over two-thirds of the island of Hispaniola. In 1808, Napoleon Bonaparte invaded Spain, dethroned King Ferdinand VII, and installed his brother Joseph Bonaparte as the King of Spain, turning it into a French puppet state. A series of revolts broke out across the country against the French occupation, marking the beginning of a devastating war of independence against the Napoleonic regime. During the war, the first constitution of Spain was declared by a revolutionary body called the Cortes of Cádiz. The war ended in 1814 with the retreat of French imperial armies from the Iberian Peninsula and the restoration of Ferdinand VII, who then dissolved the Cortes and abrogated the constitution, re-establishing absolute monarchy. During the same period, the Spanish-American Wars of Independence resulted in the loss of most of Spain's territory in the Americas. Following the death of Ferdinand, Isabella II succeeded as Queen of Spain, sparking the First Carlist War between the liberals supported of Isabella II and the Carlists supported of Prince Carlos de Bourbon. The Glorious Revolution started in 1868, which put an end to Isabella's reign. Italian Prince Amadeus of Savoy was duly crowned King of Spain early the following year. However, Amadeus soon abdicated the throne, declaring the people of Spain ungovernable, and went back to Italy, leading to the proclamation of the First Spanish Republic. An 1874 coup led by Spanish General Manuel Pavia gave way to unitary Praetorian Republic rule by General Serrano, contributing to the restoration of Spain's Bourbon dynasty by Arsenio Martinez Campos later that year. By the end of the late 19th century, after the Spanish-American War, Spain lost Cuba, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines to the United States, reducing Spanish colonial possessions to Spanish Morocco, Spanish Sahara, and Spanish Guinea in Africa. Spain under Franco. In 1931, after the deposition of King Alfonso XIII, the Second Spanish Republic was formed. 5 years later, following a military coup d'etat, the Spanish Civil War broke out between the Republicans and the Nationalists. The country was split in half, with one zone controlled by the Republicans, or the government, with support from the Soviet Union and Mexico, and the other by the Nationalists, or the rebels, supported by Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy. 3 years of bloody fighting ended with the victory of the rebel side, bringing General Francisco Franco to power and imposing a dictatorship across Spain. During Franco's rule, Spain was officially neutral in World War II. At the same time, it became a single-party regime under Falange, or the Fête de las Jones. During the latter part of the Francoist regime, Spain witnessed a period of exceptionally rapid growth in the economy called the Spanish Miracle, including the birth of the tourism industry. In 1967, Morocco gained independence from Spanish rule. The following year, Spanish Guinea was granted independence as Equatorial Guinea. Then, the Moroccan enclave of Ifni was ceded to Morocco. 2 cities in Africa, Ceuta and Melilla, remain under Spanish rule and sovereignty. In 1975, the last Spanish colonial possession, Western Sahara, was occupied by Morocco. Several months later, Franco died, bringing King Juan Carlos to power. Democratic Spain. After the death of Franco, King Juan Carlos I got rid of Francoism and gave the power back to the people, beginning the transition to democracy in Spain. In 1978, the current Spanish constitution was passed. In 2002, Spain fully adopted the euro, and Spain experienced strong economic growth, well above the EU average during the early 2000s. Following King Juan Carlos's abdication in 2014, his son Felipe VI ascended to the throne to become King of Spain till now. Today, Spain is a high-income country, an advanced economy, and a world leader in organ transplants and organ donation. Spain is a member of many international organizations, including the United Nations, the European Union, the Eurozone, the Council of Europe, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and the World Trade Organization.
Thanks for watching. If you find this information useful, please give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos of history.